But it was his picture that caught my eye, and plus his profile. But
I liked her picture, and and the way she talked.
though some people said, "Why don't you wait? What's the hurry?" And I thought, wait, it's nonsense. Whatever is good is still going to be good and get better. My legal name is Catherine Mary Young Johann, but only the nuns and the police and the lawyers call me Catherine. Everyone else calls me Kim. So I know when I hear Catherine, uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Bill Staley,
Staley.
or Will Staley, I guess it is.
Well, William, and I call him Will. Okay, I am 85. I was 85 on September 26th, just a few weeks ago. And
On the 30th of September, I was 92.
92. And what was your guys' wedding day?
26.
the 26th of September. So it was a big birthday and wedding combined.
This
We
year.
had a big cake that said joyous wedding and happy birthday and our names on it. I was born in suburban Philadelphia in Darby, Pennsylvania.
And how about you, Will?
I was born in Stuttgart, Arkansas, in
Really?
1928.
How did you meet?
Well, that's interesting. We both signed up about the same time with Silver Singles, and you give them a photograph. It's only about that big, and then you fill out a very in-depth profile. And I started out with that I was squirrel-brained. I thought that they should know that right off the bat. I think that caught their eye. See, you're given each of us are given pictures and profiles of people they think we might be interested in. And, you sort through a lot. But it was his picture that caught my eye, and plus his profile. But he can tell you about that.
I was down in Riverside, California, so I thought, well, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho was a long way from there.
Yeah.
So I wasn't too interested, at first. And then as we kind of talked back and forth on the phone, and then I got interested and decided that I could work up here as well as working down in there, and she could be around her friends, and if I came up here, so.
So you're still working?
Well, yeah, I do design work all on my own and try to sell it to some poor soul. I started out designing a desalinization system to furnish water from out of the sea, and then it developed into generating electricity out of the sun that allowed me to then drive to power the desalinization thing. And I've been battling trying to get somebody to fund it, and hopefully I can get Bill Gates to fund it.
Kim, what did you do for a living?
Well, I never actually was gainfully employed. I mean, I worked in a knit shop, and of course I used up more yarn for myself than I could ever earn selling in the shop, but I loved it. But I raised the children. That was full time for me. I didn't see how women could put in a lot of time outside the home. I had 5 children, and my first husband was a very, very busy general practitioner, and so our lives were quite full, and I was just busy homemaking, and I loved it. I domestically enjoy life. My talent was in music,
Oh.
and so that's what I started out to do, and then I got married and had the children, and the music was too demanding, the kind of music I did, and that was, I sang opera and such things, and you just have to practice, and it wasn't in me to split and not be home. Oh, I had 3 under 3,
Yeah.
all in diapers. Back in the days when you washed your own.
That's, yeah. Lucky for your kids.
Yeah,
You
so,
chose to be
yeah.
with them. Will, do you have children?
Yeah, 7.
Oh my gosh, so 12 between
12,
you
yeah,
guys.
12.
Yeah, I have 3 with the first wife, and then 4 with the second wife.
We had 3 with the second one, but the third turned out to be twins.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'll
So
do
we
it.
got
Yeah.
a spare there.
Yeah.
Lucky twins.
That almost ended me.
So I know Will ended up in Coeur d'Alene because of you, but how did you end up here?
Well, that's kind of a long story too. My husband, actually it was my second husband and he was an artist, and we thought we did well okay selling art, but it's a hard
Yeah.
field to get into. Anyway, we downsized and we live in this cozy cottage now, and happily.
Yeah.
And it's just perfect for us.
That's
Until,
good.
well, my late husband, the artist, passed away 3 years ago. So I've been a widow, and I didn't date at all. Nothing. I just kept up with activities though, and then I saw the Silver Singles ad on TV, and I would see it again and again, and I think, do I dare do that? Never done anything like that. I don't know anybody that's done anything. But what's the harm? so I joined and filled out all that profile, and things started happening. It was early May. In fact, he remembers May 6th that we spoke on the phone together. First, you're just sort of texting through the
Right.
singles, and you talk back and forth that way. Well, you don't get very far. And so we decided to exchange phone numbers. And that's the way to go, because then you really have the freedom of saying anything you want and being yourself. We started talking, and it was never just once a day. It was always night at 9 o'clock. We'd sign off then. And the way he had started out life and what he did with his life is very, very interesting. And so I thought, though, he's got a brain. that was important to me. Somebody who
She
had,
changed her mind though. We got married. No
I think
brain.
I
he has
think
his doctorate. He didn't tell you, a doctorate in electrical engineering. So I mean, he is screwed together pretty well, and I like that. And the way we laugh together. And he's had so many jobs, I don't know if you could ever remember them all, could you? If you had to make a
No,
list.
I worked in aerospace for 50 years. Well, before that, I was in the service for a while, and for 4 years. And I was stationed down in Mountain Home, Idaho there for a year in the Air Force. Soon after I got out of high school and served couple of years in the Merchant Marine, sailing in the Pacific on a hospital ship. Then I went back to college and started getting a degree in engineering. Before I finally settled down and got a job. I worked for a year out in Albuquerque on hydrogen bombs, putting electronics in those bombs. And then I decided, well, I needed more training, so I went back and got a master's degree and a PhD, and then do the aerospace stuff, putting navigators in submarines and ships and airplanes and missiles.
A lot of things that went boom. What bombs were they that you put together and they'd send them all off to?
I did
the Philippines or wherever?
Atomic bombs. Well, the Korean War was going on, and MacArthur wanted 15 atomic bombs. He was ready to go to bomb North Korea and the Chinese that were coming in. So we put those together and sent the bombs to Okinawa, and we went over there and was ready to launch them on whenever MacArthur wanted them, and Truman at that time it was the president, and he said, "Don't give MacArthur those bombs unless I give you the word it's okay." Of course, I don't want to start a World War III, you know. But never did give them to MacArthur, and we took them back to put them back in storage there.
You'd take them all apart again and put them in storage.
Put it in storage back in caves there at Albuquerque. So I guess they're still there.
She liked your handsome face and your big brain. And what did you like about her that sparked your interest?
Oops.
I don't know, I got much of a brain, but at times it doesn't seem like I do. So I worked on a lot of different airplanes, and
Well, he didn't answer that question, did
He
he?
never did say. I was
Did
gonna
you hear
say.
the question that she asked you?
no,
See?
I said, what about Kim sparked your interest in her?
I liked her picture, and and the way she talked and all, and that she was smart as a whip, and it would be a pair, I think, if we got together. So
We met in May, early May, so July and August he came up and stayed here for a week or so, and then I guess it was the August visit that we talked about getting serious. And I just had that wonderful date in mind too, because I knew my birthday was coming up on a Saturday.
Oh.
And it was an important birthday. I was way back thinking, I'll be 85 that year, and I just thought it'd be a neat time, and the kids, as many kids as possible, could come, and they'd make everything in one trip. Though some people said, "Why don't you wait? What's the hurry?" And I thought, wait, I'm 85. It's 92. How long do we wait, and do we wait for what? It didn't make sense. It really didn't, to wait. Whatever is good is still going to be good and get better.
Exactly.
And what's bad, we just have to shovel it. And had a traditional wedding, communion, everything. The oldest little church in Coeur d'Alene, St. Paul's Episcopal Church.
Okay.
But of course, it's during the virus, so the church limited the number of people that could come, and so it wasn't a big group. We just had some flowers, and
So how many of the 12 kids were able to come?
he had 2 and I had 2.
That's still pretty
But
good.
they got along beautifully. They had
was that
more
the first
fun
time?
together. Oh yeah. Then we had a lovely reception down at Crickett's. We had a lovely buffet. I must say the food was outstanding. Lovely. And then the great big cake, the birthday wedding cake. Get to know each other as well as possible. Know the in-depths of a person. Ask the questions that might push their buttons, because they're going to come up big and loud with red flags maybe later on, and then when it's too late. So do that early on. So don't assume anything. Assumptions are screw-ups, pardon me the word, but
No.
and it grows every day, and that's important.
and forget about anything you don't like and
They don't matter.
That don't.
They don't matter,
Don't,
most of them.
don't,
Are you talking to you or to me?
both?
I forget what we were arguing about, and then I think, why do we waste time talking about it if it's something you're not even going to think about after a while? It's nonsense.